Okay, so we're doing this. Snow White is a character whose narrative surrounds the fact that she was born with skin white as snow, hair dark as night, and lips red as blood. What I find interesting about this casting choice is it's completely ignoring the narrative. I hear people say, hey, that's a bit racist, or hey, it doesn't matter, she's half white. Like, wait, what? On this logic, you're saying if we casted an actress who was half white and half Asian and put her in Mulan, the internet would be okay with that. No, the internet would explode. Mulan's narrative surrounds the fact that it takes place in ancient China and she goes off to fight the war and wins and helps and saves the day. But when it comes to Snow White, we're just going to ignore what's literally written into the story. Okay, say they casted the next remake of Tangled as put in Japan. And you know how it can still work? Because of the golden flower. What's written into the story of Rapunzel is that she has golden hair. It could still work. Hollywood has come out and decided to, quote unquote, be diverse, but in a strange way. They're saying, oh no, we're being diverse and you're in the wrong. Okay, but why can't you make sense of it though? You can still be diverse and make sense of it. The only way I can make this making any plausible sense is that Snow White, say, was born glowing, like the girl from Shadow and Bones, say that. And they're like, oh yeah, she glows white like snow. That's like the only way I can see Disney making complete logical sense of it. Saying, oh, she's Snow White. Not because of her skin tone. No. It's because she glows like Twilight. The only way I can make this making any plausible sense is that Snow White, say, was born glowing, like the girl from Shadow and Bones, say that. And they're like, oh yeah, she glows white like snow. That's like the only way I can see Disney making complete logical sense of it. Saying, oh, she's Snow White. Not because of her skin tone. No. It's because she glows like Twilight. Honestly, though, that would actually be cool. Because it would still give room for diversity and make sense of the name. Everyone wins. But right now, from where we stand, I don't know what's going on with Disney here. What I find a little more strange and doesn't help, in my opinion, is the fact that she was casted as Maria in West Side Story. Now, in the Puerto Rican culture, they have this toxic stance on white people that they are better. Like, if you married a white person, you're a lot better off. Like, that's good. You earned praise for that. The lighter skin, the better. Like, they want to just completely push away their skin tone factor, that the way they are. That's pretty toxic. And for Maria, a first-generation Puerto Rican girl, to be portrayed with a girl with lighter skin than a traditional Puerto Rican girl, just further pushing this toxic perspective that's found in various of other cultures. And that just sends a weird message. And then to see her as portrayed as Snow White, just no one's happy. It sends really weird mixed signals on both ends here. That's what really got my beef. Like, wait a minute, she's playing Snow White, but then she's also playing a first-generation Puerto Rican girl, Maria, based on Juliet for Romeo and Juliet. That's literally West Side Story. And does anyone see the narcissism here? Just a bit like the hypocrisy? Like, I'm all for diversity and breaking the mold, and that's great. But what I find so weird is that Hollywood seems to be doing it in a toxic or just no logical sense of a way. And I think it's really up to us as an audience to say, wait a minute, what are we really saying here? Like, you can still do Snow White with Asian or albinoism, like, or even just maybe they even will do a glow up thing like that. Who knows? You never know. Because that might actually work. I would actually love to see Disney take on that name and actually make it work. I hope they do. And also, you gotta remember, Snow White, the remake, is really a twist between Snow White and Rose Red. It amazes me how many people don't realize that there's a fairy tale, not the same. There's a different one, a fairy tale called Snow White and Rose Red. And it involves two girls, village girls, I guess, country girls, and they meet a bear, and da-da-da. So in this remake, it's kind of like an Elsa and Anna story. Red Rose has to go out and save her sister Snow White. Now for this, like, it could be forgiven. And like, maybe there's a reason. Who knows? Maybe Rose Red glows red. And Snow White glows white. And together they battle the forces of evil with the gnome and the Snow Queen. Like, if you don't know the Rose Red and Snow White story, check out it. Then that will explain the gnome I mentioned. So that's just my take on it. I just find it so strange and weird timing just to have these two characters portrayed by the same girl at the same time, and just people being okay with it. And what I find very weird is just recently someone was like, oh, you don't get the bigger picture, it's all about diversity. And then they mentioned Bridgerton, and they're like, oh yeah, it's so great. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, and it is great. I just wish with Netflix saying they're going to be diverse, they could at least make Daphne a bit more better, like portray her family as diverse as everyone else. Why is she portrayed as this great beauty when really, I mean, respects the actress, she's beautiful in her own way, but really just average. She's just any other white character lead actress we've seen so far. What makes her this grand, gorgeous woman when the queen picked her out? Like, it would have made more sense if they had a beautiful Native American woman come up with beautiful cheekbones and just grace as she walked down into introduction, and the queen, of course, would get up because she would be like, yes, you're gorgeous. She would see that. It would send a totally great message on what Netflix said they were doing. But instead, they made all the other added characters for the first season, at least. And the only reason I don't think people have gotten their goat on it is because Simon, who was black, won the lead role in season 1, is, there. But I find that very sketchy, very, like, lazy writing. It's like, wait, like, acquaintance of mine just, like, mentioned, like, why couldn't they took the girl who played Penelope, aka, you-know-who, and played her as Daphne, because she was just gorgeous. But no, it's just, I just don't quite get it. So, and she, of course, this person went off on me like, oh, you don't get it, it's a historical thing. And I'm just like, wait, which is it? Are we going to throw out the historical accuracy and be diverse, just make sense of it though? Or are we going to be historical accurate? You can't have both if you're like, which is it? And of course this person just went on a tirade like, you don't understand history, you idiot. And I'm just like, narcissist much? Anyway, so it's just, I just find people, like, I'm telling you this because I just find it very concerning that now people are just putting and choosing where to draw the lines on this variation of so-called color, or making it work, or casting choices, and just saying, oh, well, I approve it here, but no, it doesn't work here. And I'm like, why? You can't have A without B. I don't see the logic in this, and that's the thing, there is no logic, and this is not going to make anyone happy. Not everyone's going to be happy, and I understand that, and if they make it work, that's great, but I just find it very concerning as society and as a general audience for just to look at these two things and various of other shows putting this on display and kind of cheating here and there, or just kind of taking it in a lazy route. And none of us seem to be too angry about that when we kind of should, because we don't want the entertainment industry to slip and kind of weasel their way around where we can actually be more representative in a good, right way, instead of taking the sleazy kind of wait a minute, does this even make sense approach. Now, this is unscripted. This is my thoughts and opinions, and And I could be proven wrong. This could still work, and it may just be all in my head. I just find it very concerning that we're going into a stage where diversity is finally reigning in, and that's great. But I just find it sketchy to see some shows taking the easier route or using the half white or half something but card. And it just makes you wonder, like, okay, is this the right choice of casting, or are they just taking the easy route? And then you got Maria being a first generation Puerto Rican. Is that, don't you want a Puerto Rican girl who looks Puerto Rican to be up there and just portrayed as someone who's beautiful and not someone who should be what the Puerto Rican culture has pushed in, and of that toxic, like, oh, you have to be pale skinned to be considered better and more superior. That's not right. And I just feel like Maria being portrayed as someone with lighter skin just kind of sets the precedent for that style of thinking. And maybe they weren't even thinking about this when they casted her. And maybe it shouldn't even matter. Maybe because it's just about who can play the role. And that's fine. I just wish they'd be a little more clear about this.